All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to enable the chat so you can all chat and I'll say hello there. There we go. We're going to get going in just a minute here. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. Look forward to a good webinar. And the chat is open. Should be able to go and open that by clicking the little chat bubble button. Okay, we'll keep that open for a few minutes and then we will close that off once we get started. So hello, hello. I'm glad you're here. So we're going to wait just a couple more minutes because I think we have a few more people that are coming. Okay, so please be patient. Just wait a few more minutes. Hope everybody's having a good night. Getting their week off to a good start. Hi, everybody. Okay, we got a couple more people coming in. Got a few more waiting for. We'll give them just a few more minutes. Chat amongst yourselves. So if you have anybody that you've invited that you don't know is on, you might want to give them a call quick. See if we can get them here tonight. Make those last minute calls. See if you can get in touch with everybody. Good. I'm glad everybody's having a good night. Welcome. A few more people coming in. Okay. Just a couple more minutes. We'll start by 5 after here, okay? Just to give everybody a chance to get on, because I think we have a few more people that are registered that are not quite here yet. Get everybody a chance to get in here. Hi, Delwyn. Good to have you on. Okay. Couple more minutes. We'll start at 8:05. So if you got anybody else to call, do it now. See, we have a few more that are registered that aren't here yet. Just a couple. I don't know about everyone else, if everyone's getting the same weather that we're getting up here in Wisconsin, but we got snow today. It's November, and it's no fun to have snow. 26 degrees and snowing. So if you're somewhere warm, be glad you're somewhere warm. All right. One more minute, we'll get started. Okay. Hang on. I think we got one more person coming. All right. Okay, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. This is what we're going to do. If you don't know me, my name is Steve Stark. I have a website called bizforhome.com, and I'm going to be introducing our presenter. His name is Jay Carden, and he has a business called Jay Carden Marketing. And Jay's going to do a webinar here, tell us a little bit about the do's and don'ts of team building, and give us a few tips on how to build an effective team and how to build a team, period. So I want to welcome Jay and bring him on here. Jay, are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good, good. I had to unmute myself.
There we go.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate the introduction.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, I'm going to just go over a few tips and pointers here about team building. These are things that I've learned in network marketing. But first off, I know some of you on here tonight probably don't know me or know who I am. And I've been working in network marketing for a little under 2 years. It'll be 2 years in April of next year, actually, when I first got started. And when I got into it, I really took it very seriously. I wanted to, I saw it as my chance to build something big and productive and to be successful, which I think that's basically why everyone else is here, looking for the same things. But what's really important is the team in network marketing. Of course, we all know that building the team is the important factor. Without a team, you don't really have a whole lot you can do, on your own. And when you can build a team, you can duplicate. And some things about it, though, about team building, it can be, for some, it can be frustrating, for others, it's all in your mindset, really, when you build a team. And the first thing to go over if you're new or you've been in this business for a while, one thing you got to do is set expectations right off the bat. You got to know where you're going and know how you're going to teach your team and to duplicate. So that's the first thing you need to do, is set an expectation. Now, and an important part of team building also is, number 2, you need to be an example. You've got to. A lot of people I've seen, they build big teams and then they kind of sit back and kind of boss them all around. I've seen it time and time again that they'll just boss people around and expect them, yet they don't do it themselves. So keep that in mind. You don't want to do that necessarily, because it can kind of crumble your team away. You've got to be an example. And that goes hand in hand with setting an expectation, setting some goals. Now, and the third factor, one thing that's very, very important, you need to be event-driven. Events are very powerful, and they really do motivate, inspire, and teach people, your downline, how to produce and duplicate and build a team as well. So you want to always invite your team to events. Always try to get as many people there. The one who has the most people going to events and, you know, getting on the calls and joining the webinars like we're having now that are doing all the activity are going to have the largest teams. So really, how do you build the team? That's a good question. These are some things you got to think about when you're actually building the team. Number one, it's a numbers game. Remember that. It's a numbers game. You've got to prospect, and you've got to prospect in high numbers. You've also got to teach to do the same. Now, I mean, to find prospects is a different story. That would be in lead generation, but let's just say you know how to do that right now. You know how to recruit well. You know how to generate leads, and you're building the team. So you want to have experience like earlier and try to get as many presentations as you can, because it's a numbers game. The more you prospect, well, that leads to the more presentations you have for your people. So the more presentations you have, well, that leads to, the more people that join. The more people that join and that you recruit, that's more people to go to the events. And the more people that go to the events, well, the more leaders you create. And when you start to create leaders, that's when you're going to notice your team's going to really take off. That's when it's going to be night and day where, if you're the only one in your team you're building and you've got other people in there, just one leader just like you will double your business. If you get two leaders, then you're going to quadruple business. So presentations are important in order to grow the team. And then you set yourself as an example to lead the team, because that's important. Are you a leader or are you a follower? And that's something that I've heard by many, many successful network marketers is, are you the leader or are you the follower? Would you join you? That's a good question. Would you join you? Do you believe that you could lead a team? Do you believe you could, get them to the events, promote? So, ask yourself that. Would you join you? That's very important. And, and the importance of a team, I think everyone knows why you want the team. You want the duplication, right? So one good way, if you have a team, you need a system or basically a system is what I'm saying. Yeah, just plain out a system that can help the people, like tools that they can go to learn. Because when you start recruiting a lot of people, when that starts happening, you're not going to be able to keep building, because especially their first month, they're going to be calling you a lot. You're going to have a lot of calls. So don't let that frustrate you when you got people calling you all the time, especially when they're new and they need direction, they need help. You need a way to point them to something, like a tool or a system to help them generate leads, a system to help them do the work, to excite the prospects that they are getting. And you really got to work close with those people. So, no matter what company you're in, most of them do offer a system or multiple systems. So if you don't have a system in your primary business, in your network marketing company, it can very well be difficult to produce unless you create the system. You can create the system. That's part of being a leader. You've got to take that first step. So mindset is always important. Mindset really is the basic, is where everything starts. So if you don't have the right mind for the job, you're not going to duplicate. You can't see the bad in anything. You only see the good. When you have your prospect calling you every day, you know, like I said, when they're new, they're going to do it. That's just a given. You should see that as good. You know, you're going to answer the same questions over and over and over, but that's good. Don't see it as bad, or things will go bad. So, you know, try to get your team, number one. One thing you do want to do when you start to build that team, you start recruiting people. We know it starts with recruiting. You need to educate them. Have a way to educate them, a system, a tool, events, presentations, webinars, company calls. It's very important that you make sure your team always gets to these calls. They are always on. You'll see that a lot of them will do it naturally, and then some, they won't show up unless you know, call them and remind them. And let me go into what it's like to have someone who joins the team. They, you know, they don't come to the calls. Everybody's gonna feel this. They don't come to the calls. They don't go to the webinars. They don't go to the events. Whenever you talk to them, they have excuses, you know, and then they blame you, and then they quit. So that's something every network marketer has experienced. And you don't let stuff like that bother you. You know, they say a lot of the top earners in companies, I've spent a lot of time in educating myself to grow a business. I was told by the top earners, you know, read the books, get the education, and that's what I did. And they say when you have a person on your team that's showing motivation, or they're showing that they're going to do the work, you know, they're really producing, they are the ones that you want to work closely with and invest time with. If you have to chase them down to get them on a call, or you know, go find them, get them, you know, to come to the event, there's no need to over support. There's no need to just keep trying to, you know, get that person to do something, because you might find you're going to spend all that time, all that energy into someone who's probably going to quit. You know, they're either going to produce or they're not. So, you know, keep in mind, who are your players? The ones that are really showing the effort. They're the ones that are putting in the effort, the energy. Try to work closer with them. Get closer with them, and you'll see your team start to grow a little more. So, you know, your teammates, the people that you bring in, when you bring them into the business, they are now a business owner. So there is a level of self-responsibility. You know, they have to be responsible for their own actions. You can't take them by the hand and walk with them. And a lot of marketers might bring in a friend, that they'll bring in their best friend or their family member, and that person doesn't show the excitement. Possibly they, you know, when it comes time for a webinar or a company call, they call up their friend or their family member, but they have an excuse, you know. Well, I can't make it because of whatever. And you might find that those, you know, if someone starts doing that early in the beginning, they're probably going to do that the whole time. And don't be upset if they leave. You know, don't let things like that bother you. You got to keep the good in it, because, you know, the good side of that is, hey, they might not have been willing to do the business. Now I don't have to spend, you know, put all this effort into them. I can, you know, keep prospecting and growing my team and putting time and effort into those that are going to, you know, that are going to be responsible. So a lot of people, they get mad about retention. This is network marketing. More people are going to quit than not, but it's a numbers game. So keep that in mind. You're going through numbers. You definitely don't worry about the people that quit. Don't let it upset you. Don't let it make you quit. I've had team members that done that. I had a whole team collapse before. One person quit, led to the one above them quit. So then that person, both people in his team quit, so they quit, and the one above them quit, and it just all fell apart until it was just me again. And I didn't quit. I stayed, and I rebuilt another team. And, you know, keep the presentations going. You always want to keep bringing in new people into your team. You will find that you'll find your leaders and the different levels of leadership. Some will grow small teams. Some will grow very large teams. Some will outgrow you. And that's not a bad thing in network marketing. It's great to have people come in and go past you. So keep numbers, keep your expectations high. You know, try to make big goals. Small goals have no magic. Now, I've heard that before. That's very true. And as you're bringing the people in, set an example. Show them how you run your business. Because if you don't, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, you're not doing it. Why do I follow you? So be that great example, and really, as you're bringing in these people, always go with events. Always go with the calls and the webinars. You try to get them to become educated, and that is really where you're going to build your leaders, is to educate them and to get them to learn the things that I just talked about, and you're going to start to develop a very strong team. Keep the presentations going. Never slow down on those, and that's very important. If you ever slow down, you'll crumble. So make sure you've got a constant flow, and you've got your guys in, and they are doing the same thing. They're getting the presentations out. They're educated. You're the example. Teach them to be the example, and don't let the most important thing, don't ever get discouraged. Don't get frustrated. I've had people, I had a team member one time, and she, I called her, I tried to call her, I didn't hear from her for a week, and she calls me out of the blue a week later, and she said that she was frustrated. Now, and remind you, this is like her second week, and she's frustrated because her friend never got back to her, never answered her email. And keep in mind, there's only one person she prospected. She only prospected this one person, no one else. She was going to do one at a time, talk to her friend first. And her friend never emailed her back. So she literally stopped. She closed her business down for a week. Didn't look for anyone. Didn't try to learn anything. She just basically, felt sorry for herself for the whole week. Meaning, she lost a lot of business. And that week alone, I had already put probably 10 people under her in her business. So she should have been seeing that as a good thing. She should have been driving. And I had a talk with her and told her, this is part of it. It's always going to happen. You're going to get more no's than you will yeses. Don't worry about that. Try to see how many people you can get to tell you no. Because the more you get told no, think about it in a good way. That means you're getting closer to that yes, to that team member. And then once you get your team member, you teach them the same thing to get as many no's as they can, as many presentations. So it's real simple on building a team. It's very important. And what I want to do is open the questions here to see if we've got anybody who's got any questions. Maybe Steve can do that. I think I can do it right here.
Yeah, you might be able to do that, Jay.
Okay, it says it's opening the audience's questions. It's downloading the app. Well, it might be disabled. It's saying this feature is disabled.
I just enabled it. There we go. Should be able to ask questions now.
All right, let me try it again. Well, let me go up here to the chat box. And then go to questions and answers. Does anybody get any questions? I can't read them right now, Steve. If I do get one,
yeah, I'll read it.
I guess you could. All right. If you've got a question, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer any questions. It's really it's this very important topic, team building, and I will also want to mention that I've got an ebook on building the team. If you want a copy of it to read and study yourself, I can definitely send you a copy. It's free, so welcome to it. I'm going to put, where can I put my email address up here, Steve? Like in the chat room, chat box?
Yeah, why don't you just put it in the chat there, Jay?
All right. I'm going to chat. I'm going to put my email address. This is the one you want to send it to if you want a copy of the ebook. There it is. And just send any email saying I was wanting the team building ebook, and I'll put it as an attachment. I'll email it right over to you. And it's pretty good. I've read it. It really does. And now it does focus on not just network marketing, but team in general. And you can apply it to anything. And network marketing is one of the things you can apply it to. So if anybody has any questions, just throw them up there. Okay. Because I can't see it. If you do, you got one?
Yep, we got a question. How do you decide what kind of system to use with your team?
Well, it's all up to each company. Usually the companies develop their own. Every company has their own, and they have a name for it. Some companies have multiples, so you would have to, in my situation, in the company I'm in, I've seen they've got 3 systems, and I choose the one that gives that sends the leads, the best quality leads for the reasonable amount of money, because some of them get a little outrageous, and so I know there that my team can't duplicate with it, so that's important. So consider that. Whatever company you're in and whatever systems they provide, find the one that most people can use. That would be the best answer I have. I don't know all the systems because I'm not familiar with every company and how they duplicate and how they grow. So hopefully that helps. Just keep that in mind. Is it a system that most people can use? Because the company I'm with, they had a system where the leads cost like $140 a piece, and then you had to pay another extra $30 per lead. And most people, 99 out of 100, can't do it, especially after the big investment to get started. So I dumped it. Even though it was their lead system that brought me in, I dumped that system and went looking for others. And me and some other people on the team, we started developing our own, and we found some pretty good systems that were already in place that we could add to our team that most people can afford it. That's a big question you need to ask yourself when looking at the systems.
Okay. And Jay, I don't think your email showed up. Is it jaysonlinebiz@yahoo.com?
Yes, I put it in the chat. I see it on my end.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Okay. Is there a way to write it on the screen? Like hey, put it in the offer.
I can't.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a URL, so we can't. You have to have a button URL, so it doesn't work. I'm gonna throw it up in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
That's the one to do for the ebook. I've got multiple email addresses.
So
I know. Well, it's just easier. That one, Yahoo, to me is just so much easier to send attachments and ebooks and stuff like that. It's just real easy for me. But some people out there, might be on here that has not recruited anybody yet, and if that be the case, when this information will be good to you when you start to recruit, and hopefully you wrote a lot of that down. Those key factors, I can go back and repeat it in a note form to where you could write them down, step 1, step 2, step 3. But if you haven't recruited anyone, probably the first step, and you're brand new, you want to build that team, step is to probably start with the people or warm market, center of influence, whatever you want to call it. That's the place to start. And if you don't get a yes, don't be discouraged. Just, move on. Move on to cold market and into systems that generate you leads and start talking to strangers. But a lot of people, the average network marketer recruits 2.5 people in their business. That's the average. So, if you could get everybody on your team to be average, then that's 2.5 people. That duplicates. Any more questions?
Doesn't look like it right now. One thing I was thinking about, Jay, is, and I know you touched it a little bit, was if that fine line between being responsive to your team versus too much hand-holding of the team. And is there a way that you see that maybe kind of a line that you say, all right, it's time for this person to kind of be on their own. One of the things that I've heard from different people is that we should be trying to teach people to be as independent as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think that's that kind of comes in where the system is, right? That you have a system that allows you to teach someone to become independent as quickly as possible.
Yes, and the systems usually allow the person to be, to be able to be on the same playing level as everyone else. They can use the system to to generate leads with, for instance, or they can buy leads and bring them into the system, and it does the auto emails for you. It really does have, especially new people. That there's a lot of responsibility in a business, and the fine line, I was thinking about what you said, the fine line of like when and when not. I just offer everyone the same amount of support, like have calls, have webinars, have these certain tools, and that everybody can use that. So everybody's got the support. I don't want to go too far, in doing too much to where they, basically, depend on you. It's like, they could be habit forming. So that way, if you do that, and in the beginning, I did do a lot of that. I would, do a lot for people, and it did work. It would help some, but in the long run, that person sometimes would just quit, and so everything was for nothing, and that was kind of like, well, great, that was for nothing. So have a line of support. Have your scheduled calls, your scheduled webinars, every company has an event. Every major, network marketing company, they all have events. So, make that the should you say, try to promote the events. Try to get your people there, because I went to an event in Arizona, which is a good distance from Birmingham, Alabama, and within the last week I bought my plane ticket. I had to charge it. I went, and it was a lot of a lot of hassle to get out there, but the point of it was I did it to make sure that I'll be willing to do whatever it takes. And when people go to events, that's kind of like getting them to let that thing inside of them that has what it takes to create a business. That's kind of getting them to let it out. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. If I have to walk across the country to get there. And if they do, great. They're motivated. I mean, they're dedicated to growing a business. And when you see them coming out to the events, you see who you do. You start to see more serious. Like, hey, these people are, they're dedicated. And so, events are important. Although I do know that some events are not necessarily educational all the time. Some companies and teams and programs might run events that, well, if you went out there, you're not going to learn anything. And that's kind of the event I went to. I didn't go there expecting to learn anything with this particular group, but I went anyway, and I got to meet a lot of good people, and met some of my team in person. That was great. I really went there to meet my team members. That was the biggest thing. That and meet new people, because this is a networking business. You want to continue to meet people, even if they're in the same company as you, because 5 years down the road, what if the company goes down? What if you leave and they leave? You don't know what 5 years down the road means. So meet as many people as you can. Don't ever consider someone not worth meeting.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, we have another question, Jay. My company does not like internet marketing. How can I find a solution to this?
They don't like internet marketing? Is that what I heard?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, so apparently this company does not have an internet system, I'm assuming. Did you lose me here? Or can you hear me?
Oops, I think we lost you there for a second. Okay, I think you're back, Jay.
Well, you froze up. That's why I said, could you hear me? Now this, from what I understand, this company does not like internet marketing, so they probably don't have an internet marketing system, correct? I'm assuming it is. So I would say there are solutions to that if you want to grow your business, and they don't like that kind of stuff. And yes, I have heard of that a couple of times. They want more of that face-to-face, traditional, throw home parties, meet customers, shake hands. Well, there are internet systems that are not particular, necessarily with a company. They're affiliate systems, and they help you generate leads. And it's basically the same way that, the companies use their systems. So that's an option, is to look into that, affiliate programs that offer systems like that, or ask some people that maybe if you were invited to this webinar, ask the person that invited you, if they know any systems. There's always lead companies. You can buy leads. However, without a system, it's harder to get a good sign-up rate. if a lot of people, they'll just call them up and ask them right there on the spot, are you interested? And most of the time they say no, or they hang up. And when you have a system, it kind of drips it to them and raises curiosity. And since a person needs to see something 3 to 10 times before they respond, it's good to have a system that shows it to them over and over and then gets them really thinking about it a lot. So when you do call them, your odds are much higher that they're going to jump in. Or if they ask for information, you can send them information. So, if they don't have a system, I would either, number one, what is the company to you? Think of that. Is that company, are you doing well? Is it a product you like? If you're really just looking to start a business without any particular company, maybe look into something that has more support if you're wanting to build an internet business, one that offers that. Or look at an affiliate system that will help you generate leads. Or you can just buy the leads and, try to wing it yourself. But if you're new, that's going to be tough. You'd have to go through a lot of phone calls to find an interested prospect. Okay. That's about the best I can say on that.
Okay. Well, Jay, here's another question. Do you rely solely on one system, or do you recommend teaching your team multiple marketing methods?
I do multiple. I do have a system that, a lot of the team we're getting new into. We have found a new one that's been phenomenal. And I also believe in the affiliate systems that I use. It's very good at teaching networking in general, and I use it to generate leads, and basically, like when you buy a lead, you get somebody most of the time that have never worked from home. So, you're trying to create them into the marketer, and with the affiliate system, they're already created. Your lead is already someone who knows there's risk, knows all that, and they're willing to do it. So there's many ways. I believe in multiple methods. Not everyone can afford the system, number one. Not everyone can do the same things. Not everyone is comfortable doing videos, but yet someone on your team might be great at videos. So you want to offer as much as you can. Multiple ways, definitely. But have one direction in where they're taught, to where they go. Everybody goes to the same calls, same webinars. Keep the team together. But definitely, I'm all for multiple ways.
Okay. Well, there's someone that wants a clarification on. You had said something about the average person signs up 2.5 people. Was that per week or per month?
I think per life.
Oh, so their entire network
per
marketing
life
career?
Of business, 2.5 people. That's the average. Well, you got to think about it. The average 2.5. So that is going with how many people will join and quit without ever without ever recruiting. So out of 10 people, usually 1 did the 9. And then, when you get higher numbers, it gets bigger. But all in all, the average person does 2.5 people. Will bring them into their business, and I believe that's lifetime. And I learned that statistic at a networking event. So when you have a company, if you're a network marketing company, you only get paid on what you do and what the people below you do. That makes the odds of success a lot less likely. If you have things like binary compensation plans, that allows you, even though you do 2.5, the people above you do 2.5, and that kind of adds to your business. And so a lot more people find success in binary than unilevel. So yeah, 2.5, I believe. I could be wrong. I mean, that stat might be totally made up. I don't know, but I heard that, and it does seem somewhat believable. You know, since the average network marketer quits within a short period of time. You know, you got to stick with it. If you do stick with it and you keep learning and you keep trying, you will make it. You will get to where you need to go.
Great.
So, anything else?
I think that's all we have for questions right now.
Well, that's good. Well, those are some good questions. Those are, you know, really interesting questions. And, you know, team building is something. When I first got started, I joined a team. I spent a lot of money to get leads. I was, you know, I was trained that that's the way you do it. You buy them, and, you know, you buy people's information that requested information. You buy their phone number and all that. You call them up. Well, you know, and I didn't know any better. This is my first time. And so I did that. And, you know, expecting to get this phenomenal result where I would make like 1 out of every 3 people would join, 1 out of 12 would come in big, and, you know, well, little truth be known, what happened was most of the leads I bought were not really interested to begin with. I don't see how anybody could have got 3 to 1 on it, and never did sell a big upgrade pack. And what it did was all the money I had saved up was out the window, and I really did feel like I'm going to lose. You know, that's what I kept my mind clear, though. I mean, it might have crossed my mind, but I talked myself out of it. No, I'm not going to lose. I'm going to find another way. And I started just doing it on my own. I sponsored a wrestling program and started getting customers. Wasn't getting business builders. I was just getting customers. And, you know, I just kept on and kept on. And then I found a company. I switched companies and went to a company that had a binary instead of unilevel, and that's when it really exploded, because, you know, my upline does well, and since I would do well, they would start putting all their people in my team, and I would keep adding to the team, and everybody above us, between us, was putting people in my team, and it just got out of control. And after just a few months of learning the right way to build, I found a way to learn how to build, and you know, it changed everything. I was able to quit my job, you know, and go full time. And then I was really excited because I could put more effort and time and energy into it, to building. You know, I'd have more time with my team. And, you know, the people that are on my team, they really do. I really do care a lot, and I want the best for them, not just because, you know, I succeed, but because they succeed. And, you know, I can do as much as I can, and as long as like you or whoever's doing all they can and really putting 100% into it, it'll happen. It'll happen. I struggled for about 10 months, about 9 or 10, 11 months, somewhere in there. It was nearly a year, and I wasn't making anything. And then all of a sudden, it was like overnight success, and I figured out what to do, how to do it. And every morning when I didn't have to go to work, or even when I did have to go to work, I'd get up early, I'd start calling people. I called lots and lots of people. I went through a lot of prospects, and then I realized, I was like, as long as I just keep calling people, I'm finding people who will take a look at the presentation, and that led to signups, and then signups led to some of these people started duplicating, and it got big quick.
Cool.
Anything else?
Another question, Jay. How do you feel about mindset training for your team members?
That's like probably, to me, the like one of the most important things. You know, if you don't have the mind for it, and really it's not just network marketing, but really anything, if you're not mentally focused on getting the job done, I don't get anywhere. I mean, see, a lot of people believe that, well, you're born a natural for it, like you're born with this talent for something. And it's really not the truth. It's the person wanted to do it, and they put a lot of work into it. All the network marketers I know, and I watch their training videos, they all had a hard time in the beginning. And some of them lost their homes. Some of them were living out of their car. And this one lady, it was really, to me, she got her mindset right. She started thinking correctly, talking correctly. That's a big point. In order to build a team, you never talk negative. Never give any words of giving up. Never tell them, well, there's no point in going to an event because you're not going to do anything. Don't go there. No. You don't ever talk like that. You're always positive. And mindset, everything else follows. Basically, because without mindset, you don't set goals. Without mindset, you don't see it the right way. You give up easy. Without it, you can't accomplish anything without the right mind.
Cool.
And
cool. Another question. Who are the three people that you follow the most as far as leaders in network marketing?
Ray Higdon, Michelle, and Bill Pescasolido. They're married, so they count as one. And Rob Forsgren. I mean, there's a lot of them, man. But I find myself mostly following Ray Higdon, and Michelle and Bill Pescasolido. I think it's hard to say which one's better. Probably his wife, because she got him into the business. And my third, Rob Ford, or there's just so many of them. I like a lot of them. And Rob Ford, the thing I like about him is he does multiple businesses and makes it one business, and I'm the same way, multiple things. Basically, when you're at home full time, you find yourself doing those things. So maybe those are my top three. And if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry, but they'll get over it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yep. And I actually was recruited by Ray Higdon at one time, and I've talked to him, his wife. They, on a small scale, got to know him. He was, I looked up to him before I spoke to him, because, I'd see him on webinars and training webinars, and then, bang, there he is on the phone as a three-way, helping his prospect recruit me. And everything he teaches, I saw him today, like when you're recruiting, he said, when you ask them, after they've seen the presentation, you're doing your follow-up, ask them, well, what did you like? What did you like about what you saw, or what did you like most about what you heard? Don't ever ask, well, what do you think about it? Because that opens the door for negativity. So choosing your words correctly is important. But, ask them, what did you like most about it? And if you get that positive response, like, whoa, the residual income, and, I love the product, that's the kind of product I want, whatever it is, if it's positive, he said, next thing I'd say is, well, it sounds to me like you're ready to get started. Or it sounds to me like you're ready to move forward. And I've seen him do that on a couple of videos. And what's crazy is when we were talking, I told him, I was like, yeah, I mean, this is great. I like what the product was, and I love the idea of being on a team. And sure enough, before hearing him say that, he said, well, it sounds to me like you're ready to get started, so I'm going to hop off the phone and let so-and-so get you signed up. It's like, all right. I mean, that was quick. I wasn't expecting it so quick. But, keep that in mind. That's important, because don't let them be a fence sitter. You know, don't be a fence sitter, or you'll make fence sitters. And you know, when you do it that way, they're either going to be object to it, like, no, 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 not yet. Hey, that's okay. Or they're going to be like, yeah, sure, let's go ahead. Sometimes they need you to just take them. And then, because like with me, I was scared to death when I got started. But once I did it and got moving, it was a lot, you know, I was like, well, I've already done it. Now, you know, now I'm going to have to go through with it. And a lot of people are scared of that. They're scared that if they get started, they're going to have to go through with it. They're going to have to try. So next time you're talking to someone, just say, you know, if they start giving you positive feedback, say, well, hey, it sounds to me like you're ready to get started. Or it sounds to me like you're ready to move forward. And your numbers are going to go up. And you're going to have less people, you know, saying, well, I'll get back to you later. You don't want that. You want people to give you yes or no as quick as possible. Or, you know, I know and Steve knows, man, the list of fence sitters can build a fence, basically, with them. They add up. Any other questions?
I think that's all we have. Anybody else want to have a question for Jay? Oh, okay.
That's fair enough. I mean, hopefully there was some value here, and hopefully, you know, whoever doesn't have a system, that one question is what really kind of got me, because I was thinking, if they don't want you doing internet marketing, then they're probably not going to allow any systems. So if you want to use a system, of course, that's used for internet marketing, not necessarily local market, and that's something. Don't ignore your local market. You know, like Ray Higdon, one of my favorite marketers. Local market is where he's big. He's huge in local area, and so don't forget about that. But at the same time, you can only go so far in your local area. You're going to have to step out. So it's a thought. If it were me, I would, you know, I've loved all the company's products and so forth, but I've usually thought to myself, like, is that right for me? If they, you know, or am I looking for the income, or am I looking, you know, to be happy with this product? So, you know, if you have an affiliate system, then, you know, it's possible to think about, well, who's got it? You know, who's got what you need? And most every company I've worked with has always had an internet system. So, you know, but I have heard that there's a couple out there that don't like it. So it's understandable. But other than that, guys, I mean, thanks for coming. I don't have anything else to point out. Hopefully there was some value, and hopefully, you know, these pointers set expectations, be an example, be event driven, be a leader, and ask yourself, would you follow you? Those are big things to think about. That's all basically mindset. So with that said, I mean, I'm good to go. Steve, what about you?
All right, no, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Jay. Thanks for a great webinar. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. We had a nice sized group. It's really nice to see that. And just want to make sure if you do want a copy of the free ebook that we have on team building that Jay has, please email him. It's in the chat right now, but it is jaysonlinebiz@yahoo.com. So make sure you shoot him an email, and he'll send you a copy of that ebook. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. Hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure you get with the person that invited you tonight, and good luck with your businesses. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.